Rural India holds the key to inclusive growth, and today's discussion will highlight scalable models that converge technology, livelihoods, education, and health to power grassroots progress. So please join me in welcoming our panelists. We have Shri Abhinav Gopal, the Chief Development Officer of Ghaziabad, Mr. Ashdin Doctor, Managing Trustee at Light of Life Trust, Dr. Neelam Gupta, President and CEO, AROH Foundation, Ms. Puja Trisal, Director at Flipkart Foundation, and Mr. Varun Madan, Head of Human Resources at Xiaomi India. This panel is moderated by, one more time, Mr. Ashish Jha. Is Abhinav ji here yet? Mr. Abhinav Gopal? I think he is running late. Okay.
That's very interesting.
Okay. It's okay. Mr. Abhinav Gopal hasn't arrived yet, but we'll begin our panel because we are already short of time. So he may, if he joins in the middle, that's fine, yeah.
Thank you, Shweta. And a quick introduction you have already given. So we have Mr. Ashdin Doctor, who is the Managing Trustee of Light of Life Trust. We have Dr. Neelam Gupta, very supportive she has been since we started this SICA 5 years back. Dr. Neelam Gupta she is the President and CEO of AROH Foundation. We have Ms. Puja Trisal, Director Flipkart Foundation, and Mr. Varun Madan, he is the Head Human Resources, Xiaomi India. Welcome all the speakers. I have been told by my editor that you have to be quick, but yet you have to bring insights, deep insights from the speakers. Yeah, so just to begin.
For a second, we were also going to be joined by Professor Rita Bahuguna Joshi, but she couldn't join us. There was some meeting, I think, that was called, right?
With the UPC.
I mean, you can see her on the slide as well, but she couldn't join us. So, Ashish, please continue.
Yeah, so we are, the topic of today's discussion is how do we make holistic development. The topic that is powering progress with integrated rural development, wherein we see livelihood, infrastructure, employability, education, everything. And everything integrates with technology to create a larger impact in the rural setup that we have in India, where 65% of our population is still there. So I would begin with Dr. Gupta first, and would come to each panelist on this, their initial thoughts on that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ashish. And let me thank CSRUniverse and SICO for inviting me here. It's a great privilege to be here and sharing my thoughts. To begin with, I would like to share my own experience of rural development starting in 2001. As a research organization in 2008, AROH Foundation delved into grassroots intervention, and we started with rural areas. At that time, CSR was not really the force that it is today. It was just coming up, law was being enacted, and finally in 2013 we saw the law. When we talk about rural development, my personal experience says that it is possible if we start with the right beginning, with the right need in the rural areas. For example, initially in 2013-14, we were working on a CSR project with HDFC Bank, and we wanted to do skilling of women in Meghalaya, East Khasi Hills. And it was presumed that, okay, women would be free. We can give them skills, they can earn more. So that was the presumption. We went into the area, and when we realized that women are not free, but fetching water throughout the day. They had no water in their village. They would go down the hill to a stream, take water, about 3-4 liters only on their backs, in their triangular tripod, those cane baskets, come up again to the village, they could only bring 3-4 liters, and like that they used to do 5 rounds going up and down, and they had no time for our skilling classes. The project literally failed, at that time. I am ready to accept the failures here, because that is what taught us what is right for the rural environments and for areas where we want to work. Then we realized that we have to first solve this problem, break this barrier, only then we can do any meaningful work with them. And we got technicians, technology into place, we got more funding, thankfully, from our partners, and we realized that we could have a solar water pump to lift the water and then bring it down by gravity to their village. And it was such a liberation. I still get goosebumps, thinking about that time when all these women were standing around that tap where water came. And they were free to do the skill development, to do anything, in fact, education of the kids. Everything opened up for them. And then for 4 years we worked in that area. We built kiosks for them. They were doing business, everything. So to cut it short, I think I would like to say that need is the first thing, and need assessment, and how to do it, and what are the barriers in
Correct.
doing the work.
And bringing innovative ways to make that work.
And the funders should also understand we may start with something, but then get on with something else that can remove the barrier and set the things right for the area. So this is one example. Like that, I have so many examples where we have failed in bits and pieces, failed totally, when we went into unventured areas where we didn't know what to expect. So now we are doing a very, very thorough need analysis, need assessment, and what are the barriers, what are the problems in the actual problems in the area before venturing into any village, any rural development project.
Right. So would
Yeah.
like to go to Mr. Madan now
thank you.
to understand his perspective on how this integrated development in rural setup can be done with the help of technology, or where do you see the intervention of technology, especially coming from a company which is which has core focus on technology itself.
So first of all, thank you for having us. It's great to be here, and I will talk about something as recent as last month, where we've kicked off eco village project. 2 villages that we are looking at an integrated approach across multiple verticals, areas of afforestation, green energy, waste segregation, all of these coming together. And in fact, by next month, we'll actually be here in Noida as well, in the Delhi NCR, with a similar approach. And I think to ma'am's point and extending that, right, technology can play multiple roles. First of all, from a need assessment perspective, where you actually get a good overview of what the real needs are, to scaling up education. I think one of the previous talks was about how do you scale education, how do you take it to the masses. But third and most importantly is measuring impact, right? We talk about CSR funds getting deployed, and to use a very corporate, very marketing jargon. It's like if only the marketeers knew what part of their budget is actually working, then they'd be so much more efficient. And it's the same thing when it comes to technology. There are lots of CSR funds getting deployed, but what part of it is actually delivering the impact, the so-called return on investment? And for a country like ours with so many invested corporates, I think technology can really play that role of governance, of measurement, of impact assessment. And that's really something that we are also hoping to solve. We work with a lot of technology partners to see what platforms can actually work with us. And during the course of some of these approaches, we also were introduced to government platforms as well, right? Information platforms as well. For example, we partnered with the Yuvraj Singh Foundation for breast cancer screening. which was, 150,000 women across 15 states of the country. Now we are screening all these women, and wherever there are early warning signals, we are also informing them about it. But then there is a Government of India AROH portal where health data is already available. It's just that, how do you integrate our data and feed that into the government portal? There are platforms which allow us to do that as well. So it's a process of continuous, evolution. Some things that we know of and we can immediately implement. Some things we discover through that process, through that journey. But ultimately, without technology, the scale, the country of our size with those many people, I don't think without technology we would ever be able to create any impact.
Right. So technology is basically one thing that can work, that can make you work on scale. With that, I'll come to Ms. Trisal. Ma'am, last 4 years, Flipkart Foundation has been working, and it has been going into deep pockets. Like I heard once you saying that you have been working in those hilly areas in Uttarakhand, right?
Yeah.
So how has been the experience, and where do you see what are the challenges, and how those a technology mindset can help solve the problem in a better way?
Okay. Thank you for that, Ashish. Very good evening, everyone. So, like Ashish said, Flipkart Foundation is little more than 3 years old today. So our body of work is still very, very small to, put it like that. But I think the intent is clear. The intent is to make that change on the ground. Ashish, the project that you talked about, that was a project we had done in Chamoli district almost 3+ years ago, where we released about 10 million seed balls in that Chamoli district because of the deforestation that had happened there. And the idea was to help improve the green cover, the forestation in the area. And of course, we do today see that that has improved to an extent. Coming to a couple of things, and again, I think a couple of speakers earlier talked about the fact that it's very interesting about India. What may work in one area may not necessarily work in the other area. So that has been our story as well, and we have done a lot of experiments. Some work, some give you mixed results. But if I talk about a couple of things we have been able to do, some of the work is around, capacity building. So we are doing some capacity building work with the villagers in Maharashtra. And we are also working with the artisans in West Bengal and Gujarat around capacity building. There, the technology has helped us big time, because what we are trying to do with the artisans is bring them to the wider markets across the country, and because that helps them to get better income, better sustainable, so the results are fantastic. What we have been trying to do in the rural areas shows us that, we see that we are able to curb the migration to the cities because we are trying to create local employment opportunities in the area, and that has been helping us as well. In terms of the challenges, and I think a couple of colleagues talked about it in the beginning, the biggest thing is, do you have a community buy-in? If there is no community buy-in, our experience shows that, you may not see wholehearted participation, engagement from the community, which eventually actually leads to the fallout of the whole engagement that one is trying to create. So for me, the biggest is community buy-in. Second is, of course, all of us have been talking about technology, and, Ashish, I'll come back to technology later because we've done some interesting work in that area. But when it comes to technology, I think most important is to sort of, take them through the journey, not just say, here it is, but explain how it works. What is very intelligent about our communities is the minute they understand the value it brings to them, they're ready to own it. But the important thing is to put that initial investment in terms of time, effort, energy to convince them of how it is a game changer in the entire effort, and I'll talk more about it later. Being mindful of the fact that we have limited time.
Thank you for that. Yes, Mr. Ashdin, Dr. G. Yes. So my questions remain the same. How do you see the intervention of technology in empowering the rural people in rural setup, and helping in integrated development processes, whether it be employment, education, health, anything.
Amazing. So a little bit about my background. My name is Ashdin Doctor, and I'm very often known as the habit coach. So my entire life's work has been in creating behavior change in people. I've joined the Light of Life Trust only about 3 years ago. However, the Light of Life Trust has been doing this for the last 20 years. The job of the Light of Life Trust was to learn how to break the generational cycle of poverty in rural India. And as part of that, you can imagine over 20 years, we've seen internet first coming into, the technology coming into the rural cities, rural villages. Slowly during COVID, there was a bigger boom. And then what we realized that's happening now, especially with technology, is that when the adoption takes place, what is the first thing that's adopted? Entertainment. And it's so interesting that the first thing that our children are picking up is stuff that is happening across the world that has nothing to do with them. And they're getting so influenced by this. Now, we work in the space of education. We run a fantastic program called Anando, which helps children from the 8th standard up. And what happens here is we have a, what we can call a ready-made catchment area, we would say in our marketing terms, right? And we can now start working on something that is very passionate to me, which is behavior change, which is mindset change. And I'm sure you all heard today, every single panel discussion had this one thought that said, listen, we are doing so much, but how do we change the mindset of the people? And more than technology, this is the actual gap that exists right now. The problem is that it's not a measurable gap. The ROI way of calculating that, we haven't still figured out completely. So the point is that technology adoption is taking place. Right now, as NGOs, we don't know what we don't know when it comes to technology. We are not at the cutting edge of technology. We need the technology partners on our side. However, our beneficiaries, they have already started adopting technology, but they've started adopting it in a very different way from the way we are creating it. Can we make our programs a little bit more fun? Can we make it more entertaining? Can we change our mindset? Probably that is a way of educating as well.
No, thank you. So that reminds me of an example wherein an entire village has turned into YouTube creators somewhere. I'm not exactly remember the name, but that is how it is impacting the integrated development. Now that kind of rage in the society has created employment opportunity also, created for them livelihood opportunity. So when we talk about this integrated approach wherein everything is taken care of, education, health, means your environment, sustainability plus education. So and technology obviously is percolating into everything that is happening either in the urban setup or rural setup, but it has taken some time to get into rural setup. Now, I would just like to understand from you all. You all have been working in urban setup as well as in rural setup. What are the basic challenges that are still there in rural setup, which kind of presents you challenges in bringing in technology aspect in whatever work you have been doing in those setup? Yeah. Starting from Dr. Gupta.
Okay. So challenges are diverse. Actually, I would say each area, each village would have a different set of challenge. Starting from mindset, of course, this is one challenge. Patriarchal societies where, people are not forthcoming or do not allow their women to come out and adopt. Still, I'm talking in today's time, it is happening in many of the villages. Though in many parts, women are now coming out for meetings and all, but still they are forbidden. Then the access to technology is a challenge. We are putting up smart classes in schools, for example, to give technology in education. And we might have done maybe 2,000 schools so far. But then what do you call the connection? What is it? I'm forgetting the name. The devices are not working properly because the speed and bandwidth does not exist many a times. And adoption of technology, there is always a resistance because the teachers themselves think of it as an extra burden to maintain the infrastructure, to maintain the TV or the unit that is being given, to get trained in delivering content through that. So all these resistances initially are there. But when you keep working with them for some time, at least 6 months to 1 year hand holding, that your assets are out there, they are being used, they are being put to good use, and children are coming using it, teachers are getting trained, then they get used to it, and then they start enjoying.
Right.
Okay, their lessons are now enjoyable, they have to read less, they can convey more, but the initial hand holding is very, very important, which is...
Yeah, I agree completely, but I think Mr. Madan and Ms. Trishal would be differing on that a little, because the kind of work that their organization has been doing is completely based on technology, and they have been growing in a massive way in both setup, right? So adoption probably may not be a challenge for the given the way both the organization has made inroads into rural setup also. Your take, Mr. Madan and Mr. Shah.
Okay, that's an interesting question, Ashish. So, let's fill the room with a bit of a positivity and talk about the fact that technology is working. So, and I think thankfully it has been for us really working on the ground. And I'll talk about 3-4 quick projects to give you a glimpse of how the technology is working rather than just a blanket statement. So, we are doing this work for the micro entrepreneurs and nano entrepreneurs. This is a project that we have been doing in UP, Lucknow, Varanasi, and recently added Noida. So what we do is these small businesses or these nano entrepreneurs, they don't have their formal documents ready. Because the documents are not there, they do not get the loan facilities. So what we have done is, in first phase, we reached about 2,500 micro-nano entrepreneurs, benefited over 1,800, and recently in phase 2, reaching over 4,000 plus micro-nano entrepreneurs. So we are helping, so this is a partner called Hakdarshak, who have a repository of, the various welfare schemes available with them, few hundred welfare schemes. So they profile these micro-nano entrepreneurs, and whatever the schemes are applicable, they connect them with those schemes around the formalization as well as the financing. So what you're trying to create is enable them and make them independent. And these nano entrepreneurs are not just being sustainable for themselves, they're also creating job opportunities for more. And I say in context of India, what we need today is not just the job seekers, we also need the job creators, which is happening in this scenario. Coming to a scenario 2, it's a very small project that we have been doing in West Bengal and Gujarat. Very negligible numbers. But what's very close to my heart about this project is the fact these are women who take care of their household, agriculture work, and then they're left with few hours. And what they are trying to do is they're trying to do kantha stitching, applique work, and just because, they were restricted to a smaller market initially around, say maximum 100, 150 kilometers of where they were working, they were not able to earn enough. What technology today has done through the various e-commerce platforms, they have access to wider markets, again translating into better income for them. And we had Ashutosh, Buddy for Study CEO in the morning, and he talked about scholarship. We started a scholarship, and in that entire scholarship, what do you want in a scholarship? You want to make sure that you're able to reach those who need it most. Now, how do you do that? If you're doing it physically, in a certain setup, there's always a limitation. But through a tech platform where, couple of lakh youth can access it, a youth sitting in extreme remote rural area of the country can access it. It duly was meant for that particular youth, and the technology enables it for them. So I think these are few examples. We do something around environment, and that's a project we do in Sundarbans, and this is around, we are planting native mangrove plantations. And again, geotagging helps us understand what's happening. So again, it's many positive examples of where technology has been an enabler, is helping us to scale, is helping us understand the trends and the patterns emerging. And that really helps us to make better decisions. I'll stop at that. Thank you.
Right, thank you. So, Mr. Madan.
I think My experience has been different from ma'am's. I see there is a lot of willingness. We are talking about an India that is aspirational. Everybody wants today to be better than yesterday and tomorrow to be better than today. So there is a lot of willingness to be open to, whatever we want to do. Number one, there is inquisitiveness. There will be a lot of questions. And if you're actually able to comprehensively answer those questions, onboarding or enrolling people into that idea that you may have is very, very easy. I have experienced that firsthand. Quite a few projects that we kicked off, where the project was kicked off, but there were so many questions on sustainability of those projects. Once from our end, once we say that, okay, this project is done and we are going to hand it over to, the local people involved in that community, it was more about how do we scale it, what could be phase 2, what could be phase 3, how do you build on existing, infrastructure that you set up. So there is a lot of curiosity, there is a lot of aspiration, there is this need to, all of the infrastructure that we are creating, that needs to be sustainable and scalable. It's not a one-time thing, it's not, something that is here today and gone tomorrow, but really something which will be there for generations to come, and then pretty much, helps the next generation of people, the first generation of beneficiaries to the second generation of, beneficiaries. So to my mind, and I would definitely say that, I unfortunately or fortunately haven't really experienced any barriers when it comes to technology deployment or any intervention which is technology led, because everybody understands that technology is the future. One of the projects that we did was, across 12 schools in Karnataka and Delhi NCR. We set up tinkering labs. So close to about 4,000 students were introduced to the concept of design thinking, robotics, working with, mobile phones and that entire ecosystem. How does that technology work? And learning by doing, essentially, right? So break stuff, that's completely okay. But what you're breaking possibly sparks a completely new idea for you and helps you, design for India, design for your own user group, because you understand what you want, and the designs that you're going to make will be extremely relevant for that, that user group of consumers that you have around you.
Right. So probably in last 10 to 12 years, 15 years, the scenario has completely changed. Now, instead of barrier, we have this technology accessible to our rural population also. They have those devices in hand, they have data connections. Now it is up to stakeholders, government agencies, corporates, implementation agencies, NGOs, how best they utilize those technologies to make that integrated development work and make it in progress. So coming back to Mr. Ashdin, Doctor, सर आपने बोला कि जो पहला एग्जाम्पल ही आपने दिया, that was kind of intriguing example that entertainment is something that can that is the example of adoption of technology in every age group, every community, irrespective of urban or rural setup. Now, where do you see the role of different stakeholders coming together in optimizing and maximizing the use and in creating best use cases of these technology tools, product, devices in making that integrated development possible?
Beautiful question. So we started something very interesting. So we have this HP clap van, which has over 100 laptops that goes around to different villages and helps and shows the children there how to start using the laptop. Now what we found very interesting was who was the hardest person to convince? The teacher. The teacher couldn't understand what to do. Why are you coming here and doing this with us? So for us to get the technology adopted, you first had to work with the teachers. The children were excited. Then once the teacher said, "Acha, so they can do that and I can sit by myself and do nothing. Chalo, 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 please go ahead doing it." So obviously I'm joking, but we obviously did it in a far more interesting way of teaching the teachers also on how to get this change in. Now during 2020, you can imagine a huge NGO like us suddenly had to go online. So we first had to learn how to have our VCs going in, then we had to teach the children how to do it. We had to move all our modules online, which was one of the biggest challenges at that time. We started our YouTube channel, which had free videos and classes that people could start doing all over India. So in that way, we started slowly using technology and adopting it. At the same time, to add to what you all were saying, there's a little darker side to it as well, because when we go to these schools, we see large computer labs that are collecting dust that weren't continued to be used. Good intentions started it. It was almost like a taste of something to happen, but nobody knew why they were doing it. And what we do at the Light of Life Trust is we show technology and why technology is important for you. As soon as that behavior change takes place, and when soon as that mindset shift takes place, then it makes sense. In fact, our children then go and tell their parents, "Mama, what are you doing watching this?" It's obviously not in English the way that I'm saying it, but why are you only watching TV on this? You can do it this, you can do this, you can do this. And the technology adoption then starts taking place in their parents' homes, and that's actually how society starts changing. So the reason why I get very excited when I talk about this, and you can clearly see this, is because we're creating a change in society at this level. And I think it starts with our children.
Right. So I believe the mindset among the key stakeholders has to be there, and the change will come through. I am here for a concluding question to each one of you. We already have, I think, time for another session now. But if there has to be an imagination of how technology would work, given that you get all the resources, every technology platform, what is one imagination that you can have for integrated rural development which has strong tech intervention? Any imagination which might not be existing today, might not be existing tomorrow, but you think that can entirely change the development process in rural system?
I think it's already changing with the availability of technology in their hands, through smartphones, through so much information is available. So children will take it forward. I guess technology in education is going to change everything. When we have smart classes everywhere, content, whatever they need is available on the fingertips. And then, of course, we have such bright minds in India, and they will take India forward. Right. It's the education that's going to change the scenario.
So, Mr. Madan, so if all the technology possible is available, where do you see integrated rural development, integrated development in rural setup? Where do you see everything available?
So if I had to draw like this wish list for myself, I think I would probably envision like a 3D map of the country. Laid out with the government of India heavy infrastructure that they already have in place. So I have visibility on that. Layer that with my own plans and my own vision on what I want to do. But at the same time, everybody in the country, if I can have access to what they are also thinking of, then it's truly integrated development where I am building on what Puja is doing, and Ashdin is building on what the two of us are doing, and we are not doing the same thing. They're actually, that's what integrated development would look like for me. And technology can actually make that happen, because all of us, whatever we hope to do, we submit our plans and proposals to the government. Now it's just making sure that the government trusts all of us enough to actually share that back to us, so that we can, partner with the government on some of these. So think of it like, I think it was last year or the year before that, Gati Shakti, that the Prime Minister spoke about, yeah. Right? Which is integrating all the, logistics, multimodal logistics formats coming together. Similarly, something like this for the country, where you have the country, you have the government efforts, what stage are they at, what everything, yeah. And it would be really, really phenomenal. And all of us can build on each other's strength.
Wonderful, fantastic. Yeah. So, Puja ma'am, where does your imagination take you to?
Actually, very close to what Varun talked about, but not to repeat that, I really think it calls for, a lot of collaboration and coming together for all of us in the sector. I do see that already happening, and I just feel that, we got to build on it, keep continuously at it. So that would be my first thing. Second is because you're talking about technology, the question I always ask myself is that technology for good? So I would want to, bold and underline and say the technology coming into this world for our children, for everyone who is dabbling with technology, is this technology for good? That would be my one thing. And to good, I would also say sustainable in the long term, because I think where we are today in our journey, it's important to look at everything from the sustainability lens. And I think last one point to add, and I'm sort of summing it up, is technology aspiring us for bigger things, because I think when we are wanting to talk about a human breakthrough, what we need is to have that aspirational lens to how technology is being consumed and used and spread. Thank you.
Thank you.
A lovely question. So I'll tell you what one of our children dreamt of, not my vision, their vision. So, in our classroom, we do multiple things. We teach them meditation. We also teach them vision boarding. You'll have created vision boards for yourself. So we get our children to make their vision boards. It's all posted there. And I'll tell you one of the things that I saw on the vision board, which was that I vision that my village becomes just as capable as a city, that I don't need to go anywhere. So the technology adoption is that my village is just equal to that city. The same opportunities reside there. And I think that is a beautiful vision that we can start creating for ourselves.
Thank you, Mr. Ashdin, Doctor. And this could not have been better than this imagination of all the stakeholders sitting together here and imagining if technology is accessible in rural setup, how the integrated development would look like. Thank you, all the speakers here. Over to you, Shweta. I think there is a question from a gentleman. Can someone?
Excuse me, this is not a question, but just 2 minutes. Listen
Yes,
to me.
yes.
I am N.K. Raina. I am from Haridwar.
Sir,
I am the president of All India Senior Citizen Confederation, having 28 lakhs of membership. I would say that CSR started from April 14. It has been going on very well in the country. I am sitting in the 3 boards. And we must really be happy about the progress of evolving the CSR here. It has reached already about 30,000 crores a year. But how much is being given or utilized for the senior citizen? We are 10% now, will be 20% when we say Amrit Kal, when we talk about the Viksit Bharat. So we need to, I request you CSRUniverse, I request all the CSR managers here to take note of it, that when you are making a plan for the year, next year, please consider, because this Schedule 7 has elderly care in this. So please take care, give some diversification. We should not only be after the education and women empowerment and health and all that. Please look into this. We need, now people, there is no joint family. There is nobody at the home. People have money in the pocket, but there is nobody to talk. We need these centers where people can go and talk, gossip, and be there. We are not only waiting for you. We are also taking our initiative. For your information, we have a center where people are coming and the quality of life is changing. We have programs like Kuch Bhi Boliye. We have Learn Music. We talk to the university students and give them the induction about the senior citizen issues. We talk to the ladies, don't fight amongst yourself with the children and all that. But I request you, please put it in your, these CSR people should be putting it in their annual one. And remember this old man also, because all of us are aging.
No, very well noted,
sir. The person who is in the womb is also aging, and we should take care of the senior citizen.
Definitely,
thank you very much.
So I'll just like to share with you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for bringing. In fact, this is one of the category that is aligned with sector, which is aligned with CSR themes also in India, and it is well integrated into the CSR work and law as well. In fact, we had a nomination category also for which we are presenting award is for senior citizens. So apart from that, we had stakeholders sitting here who specifically work on projects which is related to safeguarding the interests of senior citizens. For example, DS Group CSR head was sitting here, Mr. Prabhakant Jain. They have a separate project which is helping senior citizens, or which is creating that safe environment for them to spend time. I believe with your passionate thoughts, we all are, thank you, sir, thank you for bringing that up. And definitely we would like to raise this voice, bring your opinion also on our platform, so that more people can reach and access those information, they understand those challenges, and probably take some actions also. Thank you, sir.
These small things we can prevent with depression, dementia, all such diseases. It is a cost to the society.
Yes, valid, sir.
Engage people in the senior centers, it will be.
Valid, sir.
No,
Thank
that's
you,
a
thank
very
you, sir. Thank
pertinent
you so
point,
much.
Ashish, I think as a media organization, I mean, we should take note of this, and we should, yes, we should advocate more around this. And thank you for coming and raising this issue. We all are going to get
In fact,
hold
Rana sir was the first one to come and register on our reception desk.
Oh, oh God.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you. Thank you. Okay, can we have the felicitations? Ashish is there. Ruchika. Where is she? Ruchika, come for the felicitations. A round of applause for our panelists now.
Neelam, ma'am. Nancy, you come.
Nancy, come. Can we also have a group picture? Yeah, group picture.